On this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone, we're going to talk about the latest ChocoPro event 159. Also, more on, of course, we got the New Japan Strong stuff with Day 2 of Fighting Spirit Unleashed, but also going to review a just recent event by GCW, Get Lost Alot, with the main event being Minoru Suzuki taking on Homicide, but also going to review the last Ice Ribbon show that I was able to witness. This was a farewell show to Matsuya Uno, who is retiring from pro wrestling. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So let's begin with the latest Choco Pro event 159. This one only had two matches that all consisted of tag team matches, and of course, in this one involves my favorite tag team in Choco Pro, the Best Bros. So the Best Bros were set to take on, of course, All Energy, Chiko Ishikawa, and of course, Sayaka. Now, do I think this was one of the best matches? No, but I have to say it's one of the most entertaining matches because, as you know, she's all too much energy. You don't know what she's going to do. But however, don't forget about Mei Shiruga, who is a bit little cuckoo. You know, she's always up to her tricks, trying to be bad, even though she claims she's good. But I have to say, it was a pretty good match. The Chi and Sayaka did hold the ground. I mean, the thing is, if Chi would have beaten the Best Bros, one of them pinned them, they would have, her and Sayaka would have gotten opportunity of the Asian Dream Tag Team titles. So, but it did not happen. It was May who picked up the victory for the Best Bros, allowing themselves to win the match. Now, the next match, we have another tag team. We have Transam Hiroshi and Antonio Honda taking on CDK, Masahiro Takanashi, and Chris Brooks. Now, I have seen this guy Transam. He kind of feels like a Buddhist in some way, even though he's not a real one. He even tries to do one of those yoga thingies, thinking it could help. I thought it was a very fun match. It was really interesting, but however, you know that CDK will always win their matches no matter what, because I don't know if I have that distinct feeling that they could get their hands on the Asian Dream Tag Team titles. I don't know, but we'll see what happens then. Now for the Jonkin tournament, everybody was there except Sarui, was the extra, so she kind of had like the buy round that she needed, and there were others that I didn't think it was gonna miss. I did not assume Mei Shiruga was gonna get to the top. Chi has been trying desperately because it's a brutal thing with Jockin. Have you guys ever seen the interview with the Best Bros? They even mentioned about that. But it was great to see them, But however, the finals in the Janken was Sarui and Mei Shiruga, and somehow Mei Shiruga got it in the second try, getting the piece of chocolate. So there's a lot of things that are going to take place in Choco Pro. So don't forget, we got 160 coming up, and I can't wait to review for all of that. But right now, let's move on with New Japan Strong. Alrighty then, so we got New Japan Strong for Fighting Spirit Unleashed for day 2 here. We have 3 incredible matches. The first one we have is the Young Lions, the DKC and Kevin Knight taking on the other Young Lion, who is currently teamed up with Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata. It was a good match. It showed a little bit of character, mostly with DKC. He was improving a little bit. However, there was still no match for, of course, the legend Yuji Nagata, no matter what they tried to pull. And it was a good match to see. Excuse me. But it was Yuji Nagata to put DKC in a submission, allowing him to pin. So, better luck next time, but keep up the improvements. Our next match is a very interesting match. We got Wheeler Yuta, who we all know has been making headways all over every promotion, especially in AEW as a member of the Best Friends, and of course, taking on the leader of the Bullet Club. I breathe with the Switchblade, Jay White. He is, as you know, it was a pretty good match. Even Jay White was impressed in the end of the match, knowing that he was a good match, but it was still not enough to put down Jay White no matter what. We all know that Wheeler Yuta has some techniques that helps him win his matches, but this time it was no good. It was Jay White that pulled off the switchblade on Yuta to pick up the victory. However, at the post match, he called out Tomohiro Ishii. Now, there is no secret that Ishii himself has been a never openweight champion once before. So basically, looks like Jay White wants to put the title on the line, but however, he decides to play a little mind games. He even low blowed Ishii to send a message to him. So practically, I don't know when we'll see that match, but I can't wait to see it. Our main event is Ren Narita taking on Fred Rouser. Now, this started back a while back, where Ren Narita refused to shake the hands of Fred Rouser. Now, that was like the sign of disrespect. Now, there was this thing that kind of made me think maybe Ren Narita was looking for a bigger challenge. Now, think about it. Some young lions can be a little bit more perspective with how they want to who they want to challenge. If you guys remember, not too long ago, Yuta Tsuji, who was ready to go on excursion, wanted to face Tetsuya Naito as his final match before going on excursion. But of course, Naito says, tranquilo. So basically, that was pretty much what's going on. But Ren Narita, he seems like it, but I think it was a an amazing match to see Ren Narita. He even pulled up the upset by pinning him. Now, Fred Rouser did kick out, but at the last second, it was too late by the time that he was able to do it. So it was already over, and of course, finally, Ren Narita shaked his hand. So practically, the feud is over. We might expect Ren Narita to head back to Japan. Don't know when, but it depends on when they're finished. So I think right now we'll end it here. Let's go with GCW. Okay, so we got GCW's Get Lost Alot. It was a pretty good event. I enjoyed every match, especially every storyline they tried to build up. Let's go with the first match. We got R.A. Fox taking on Alex Zane. As you know, I'm a huge Alex Zane fan. I love what he can do. Uh, these guys are almost similar in every way. They're very athletic, very high flyers, but there's only one who can be the true high flyer for this particular match, and it was none other than Alex Zane, and he continues to make headways. As you know, we are happy that he's back in independence, ever since he was released from WWE, but we'll see what happens. Now, nobody in GCW, if you guys been aware or not, the fan base in GCW hate Matt Cardona. Reason is, he made a mockery of the GCW, the title. He refuses to get involved in death matches. He that's the whole point when it comes to GCW. If you're planning to put a title on the line, you better put some death matches in it. He even played open challenge with guys that were easy for him to beat. He felt he got screwed in Chicago at the Art of War. Practically, he was. And even though the GCW guys don't give a damn. And that's just how it is. However, he claims that he is invoking his rematch clause. But however, the promoter, now I forgot who the promoter is, he said that there is no rematch clause whatsoever. So, but he said he'll give him an opportunity if he put one of the internet title on the line, which he did, and he lost it to none other than Effie, and it was like only a few seconds into this. Basically, he got screwed once again. So people were like, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. So that's what it was. So don't know what he'll do. Now the next match we got Jordan Oliver taking on the Silver Tooth Satan, Acticus Cogar. As you know, he's been recently not been acting like a 440 member. Recently, he felt that Ricky Shane Page screwed up, that he did not get the job done at Art of War Games. He's basically now on his own, doing his own thing. But, however, this time he's facing against Jordan Oliver, and Atticus, once again being the piece of garbage that he plays to be, actually gave Jordan Oliver the low blow without the ref noticing it. That's the kind of man Atticus Cogar is. He doesn't care, he just wants to win in any way necessary. He claims he is the best. So that's pretty much it, but do we think there'll be a revenge match? Hopefully it does. Now, our next match is for the GCW Tag Team titles. We have Starboard Charlie teaming with Big Daddy Chris Dickinson taking on Second Gear Crew, our champions. I have to say this match showed a lot of character with Starboard Charlie. Now, if you guys know this or not, Starboy Charlie is in fact 18 years old, very young. He is new to the game, and he teamed up with Chris Dickinson. Now, some things that were true about what the commentator says. It's not easy to get the respect from a guy like Dickinson, who is one of the most unbelievable talent that we've ever witnessed in history. However, with him being in Chris Dickinson's side, he could learn a lot from him about being disciplined, being a better wrestler than he could be. Now, there were moments Chris Dickinson asked him, do you really want to do this? Do you want to get in the match? He says yes, even though he knows he screwed up because Second Gear Crew retained the titles. But however, Chris Dickinson he's teaching him, look, you may lost one battle, but it's not the end of the world yet. You'll get back on the horse right now. So he's being a good mentor to him. I think this would play out a good storyline where you see Starboy Charlie, even though he beat him once, he could learn a lot from Chris Dickinson, no matter what anybody would say. Now, our next match, we got Tony Deppen taking on the Bone Soldier, Bullet Club member Taiji Shimori. I have to say this was also a good match because it showed how Taiji Shimori, he's the kind of guy you don't want to be playing around this guy. He is very amazing wrestler, 19 years in the wrestling business, as one of the best junior heavyweight competitors in all of the world, from his career with Pro Wrestling Noah, New Japan. He even was trained by Ultimo Dragon, and I think that played out pretty well with Tony Deppen. But however, Taiji Shimori won the match. However, fans would like to see him back. It's still unclear whether he would or not. I mean, it would be awesome to see him again. Our next match, we got a six-way scramble match. We got Jimmy Lloyd versus Ninja Mac versus Nick Wayne versus Dante Leon versus Cole Raddick versus The Range. I have to say, when it comes to Ninja Mac, he is unbelievably awesome, really enjoyable, great high flyer. I don't know much about how anything could happen, but I was so happy Ninja Mac won the match because it fits perfectly for him. Jimmy Lloyd has been a veteran in six-way scramble matches, but not to the extent of winning. But that's how I see it. So Ninja Mac won the match, and it was awesome to see. Our next match we got is Yoya taking on the effing truth AJ Gray, and it was a good match. I think it was a very good match. You see a guy like Yoya, who is a foreigner in this country, stepping up with a guy like AJ Gray, but he had no chance whatsoever taking on AJ Gray that much. But so he lost, but AJ Gray won. Now our main event is Minoru Suzuki taking on Homicide. It was an interesting match. Basically, they beat the crap out of each other, even chopped themselves to the chest. That is classic. That's the kind of person that Minoru Suzuki is. However, he ended the match when he applied the chokehold on to Homicide and allowing himself to win the match. And he gave a little post-match promo how he's happy to be there. And not only that, he said that he would like to come back. I mean, he is one of the best wrestlers that we enjoy watching, especially him coming from Japan. We know he's doing some shows here in the US, but his matches in GCW is far from over. We are expecting various more. So I think that's pretty much it we got. So let's go with Ice Ribbon. Okay, so I'm going to end this episode with reviewing a past event by Ice Ribbon. Um, Practically, this will be the last one that I'll be reviewing because there's no other more that they ever put on Watch Pro Wrestling. Uh, I don't know if there's a site I can watch, but it is what it is. You know, um, this one is the new Ice Ribbon number 1129. After the rain, Ribbon, goodbye, our Matsuya Uno. This was her last event she's ever been with, and from my understanding, she retired after this particular show. She did had one last match, which was the a six-man tag team match with her joint army member Cherry, and also other people. But don't know why that match should have ended at be the main event, because normally when we see things like this, it would have been perfectly. But no, there were other matches. They were more that became the ending. There was the final match for the 7-match series on this one, but also the title match in a light tube death match. But right now, let's go from the first match. We got Natsumi taking on Aruka. It was a brutal match. I can tell from Natsumi, she is kind of like new in the game, but however, she is still on the learning curve. She had Aja Kong in her corner. No, she wasn't wrestling for the night. Uh, I don't know if she ever wrestled Nice Rim, but I'll figure that out some other time. But anyway, having her, but Natsumi lost the match when she was put in a submission move, basically tap out, and allowing for Aruka to win. Our next match is a tag team match. We got Akane Fujita teaming with Yuki Mashino taking on Miku Ano and Mochi Miyagi. It was a very interesting match. There were some good moments. However, it was, of course, Miku who actually pinned Yuki Mashino into this match, and it was like already over from the moment it happened. Our next match is a 6-woman tag team match. We got first team Bani Oikawa, Rina Amikura, and Ibuki Oshi taking on Rebel X Enemy members Maika Ozaki and Ramkoshi Kyocho, also Tekla. Now, this was also a good match too because, as you know, this is a very interesting match because you got the Rebel X Enemy teaming with Tekla. They're both heels in this whole thing. I don't know why they didn't add another member from that particular group. There is one member in it, but she's later involved at another match. But this is how it goes. But it was Ram who picked up the victory when she pinned Ibuki Oshi, allowing herself to win the match. Now we get to the match that we expected. We have Maya Yukihi, who we know from Oz Academy, teaming with Amuko Oshi, Tsukasa Fujimoto, taking on Totoro Suzuki, teaming with Joint Armies Cherry and Matsuya Uno. But the other members of Joint Army were there too. We got Rina Shingaki and Tai Omna. It's great that they were there. But one thing I did not notice, I don't know how their tradition is when the wrestlers are leaving or retiring. I have seen this with Stardom, where in Stardom, every wrestler in the roster are involved in the same match. They only got 1 minute in order to make a win, either a pinfall or submission, however it goes. But in this one, everybody came out and started pounding on my Matsuya in the corner, including her own teammates as well. I thought it was a very interesting, you know, gesture to see. But however, it was Matsuya that ended the match with her because we all know she's retiring, and of course she gave her little farewell speech, her little goodbye present, and the last 10 bell rings for her. And I think it's a beautiful way to say goodbye. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be sad, but time moves on. Now our next match, it's part of the what was it? The barbed wire board death match, Suzuki Hardcore Determination, um, seventh match series. This is the final match. Zuzu Suzuki taking on Yuko Miyamoto. Now, I don't know how much hardcore stuff Suzu Suzuki had to go through with all these matches, but I do not recall if she's ever been stuck in the barbed wire. But it was nuts. But she did hold her own, but it was no good because, of course, Yuko was a far more better hardcore wrestler than her, but it did allow him to win the match. But he did show his respect for Zuzu because she didn't complain, she did not moan about it, but she's hanging in there. She sucked it up to every member involved in death matches to be in her 7 match series. But I thought it was great. Now our main event is for the Fantastic Ice title in a fluorescent light tube death match. We got the challenger Rina Yamashita, who I've seen many times, taking on the champion Riza Zera. This match was insane. All light tubes everywhere. But I think the one that I enjoyed was the fact that it had one like a bigger one that you could, like a rack type. I don't know. It was crazy. I just did not anticipate. But I don't know if Riza actually been in a much bloodier way. I know Rita has because she's mostly involved with Pro Wrestling Freedoms. But however, it was Rina that pinned her completely. Riza just kind of gave up on in his way. She even laid down while Rina became the new champion. Uh, Great for her. Don't know what Riza's gonna do now, but we'll see what's gonna go down. Hopefully, we get more ice ribbon on Watch Pro Wrestling, but we'll see what happens then. So this is right now the last one before anything else, and I'll end it right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I really do. Like to review a lot of more wrestling. I know there were some ones that I'm trying to catch up with, but I'm doing the best as possible. Coming up, we got more on ChocoPro. We got 160 coming up, and of course, day 5 of the G1 Climax. Also gonna throw in a past event from Pro Wrestling Noah, Muda the World. This one is where we have Keno taking on the Great Muda. But I'll throw in another Joshi promotion if I can. If there is time, I will throw it. If not, then I'll stick with these 3. But as for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.